Hey, welcome back to Golf Training Hacks. Do you have a problem getting that divot in front of the ball? Maybe you're chunking the ball, you're taking too much dirt out behind that shot. Well, the problem may be due to your spine angle. You know, at impact, your spine angle is very important. Now, at impact, your hips should be rotated about 45 degrees forward, your shoulders should be square to the ball, but your hips should not be gliding beyond your foot. And that has to do with hip strength and hip mobility. Let's face it, your pelvis position dictates your spine position. At impact, your hips are open 45, your spine angle should be slightly away from the target. When your hips glide forward over your front foot, this spine angle changes. Your spine gets tilted further away from the target, the shoulder drops, and you tend to hit behind the ball. So what you really need is hip complex strength, and in particular glute max strength, because at the point of impact, this front side should be driving into the ground. The ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder should be in one line. So as you come into your impact point, with your hands in front of the club head, this hip should be extending and driving. It should not be swaying out. It should be extending and driving, and for that you need hip complex strength, and in particular glute max strength. And that's what we're going to work on. So let's get started. In this exercise sequence, we're going to show you some basic exercises to improve your hip strength, and in particular your glute max strength, because to get that forward side to extend and drive through impact, you need to extend the forward hip, and that's glute max strength. But you also need hip complex strength so that you don't swing and gliding back and forth over either your rear side foot or your front side foot. So the first one, again, this is going to be some basic exercises. I'm sure you guys have seen this. Cheryl's going to do a hip bridge. We're going to hold it isometrically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to release, come back up. We'll do 3 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. And come back up again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Okay, so you don't have to hold it for 5 seconds. You could hold it for 10, 15, 20, a minute. You know, it's up to you. It's based on your capabilities. The second type of hip bridge, and we use these a lot, is a hip bridge with single leg movement. Now in this case, Cheryl's just going to do a hip bridge with a single leg pump, which is just an open movement. So she's going to come up and she's going to pump her leg back and forth 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Good. So that's a beginning of our hip bridge sequence. It's some basic exercises to begin to get you some strength in your glute max in particular here, because you need that to extend that front hip so you're not swaying it out towards the target. If you want to get some strength into your glute max, a Romanian deadlift is a good way to do it. Now let's say this was a barbell. A Romanian deadlift or an RDL would look like this. So if you know what a hip hinge is, do it like this. Hip hinge back. That would be a hip hinge. Now for a Romanian deadlift, what you want to do is hip hinge back. You want to keep your knees at a certain angle, so there's no knee bend, and it's not a straight knee. It's not straight knees. There's a little bit of a bend in your knee. Your shoulders are engaged. You're sending your hips back, 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 and you're trying to go down as far as you can, and you should feel a stretch in your hamstrings. Okay, and you come up, right? Hips back. Your back is in a neutral position. I'm not rounding anything, and come up. What it shouldn't look like is this. Okay, or some kind of a stretch with a deep knee bend. It's hips going back, 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 back. Your knees don't change angle. Your shoulders are engaged, and you go down until you feel a stretch. So you can do this exercise, this RDL, you can do it with a barbell, but you can also do it with a dumbbell. So you take the dumbbell, put your back in a neutral position, put your knees at a slight angle. Hip hinge back, shoulders are engaged, down and up. My hips are going back, I'm going down, feel a bit of a stretch, and I come up. It's not a race to get down and reach the ground. The idea is hips back, hips back, and I come down and up. So Romanian deadlift is a great way to strengthen your glute max. So that's a Romanian deadlift, but we can add a little bit to this by doing a forward press out of the Romanian deadlift. So I'm going to do a Romanian deadlift. My hips are going back. My knees are keeping a certain angle. My shoulders are engaged. They're back. I feel a stretch in my hamstrings. I come up, screw my feet into the ground, squeeze my butt, and a forward press. Squeeze, forward press. From the side, hips go back, knees stay at that angle that you set, your back is in a neutral position, your shoulders are engaged. You go down until you feel a stretch, squeeze, screw your feet into the ground, and press. And press. Hips go back, shoulders engaged, feel a stretch, squeeze and press. Romanian deadlift with a forward dumbbell press. It's a great exercise, and it's a good base exercise to start getting some glute max strength.